Our next chapter. Look at this guy. Who do you think that is? Hmm, what is he doing? What's in his hand? Pictures always get me so excited for what's about to happen in the chapter. So let's get going. The game plan. Outside Alex's house, Bluma checked her bag to be certain Ross had not lost anything. 4 teeth, a few coins, and a wad of clay left over from Lisanne's fake tooth. Everything seemed to be in place. She rubbed her sleepy eyes and gazed at the faint light that glowed on the horizon. A firefly flew circles around her. Blink, blink, blink. Yes, I know it's late, Bluma replied, but I've one more tooth to collect. She dashed back to Bradley's house. His room was quiet, except for the sound of the hamster scampering in his cage. He turned his back to the fairy. Bluma flew over to him. Mr. Hamster, she said, bowing her head, I am sorry about the dust. It was an accident. The hamster ignored her. She moved closer and poked her nose through the bars. I'm in quite a fix and could really use your help with this fairy trap. Sorry, said the hamster without looking up. I'm fresh out of good ideas. He gnawed what was left of the wooden toy. Bluma watched his razor teeth grind the wood into tiny flakes. You've already given me a great idea, she said, but I can't do it alone. If I let you out, would you help me get the tooth? He stopped nibbling and squinted at Bluma. A taste of freedom is tempting. What else can you offer? I'll throw in a tasty treat. He shook sawdust from his whiskers and grinned. You got a deal. And hey, call me Scrags. Bluma giggled. Yeah, I know, grumbled Scrags, glancing over at Bradley. How do they come up with these names? Bluma unlocked the cage and the door swung open. The problem is that the flutter of my wings will knock over the stick and close the lid, she explained. So I need you to crawl inside the trap, chew the tooth off the string. Then I'll toss in a coin. Why don't you stick the money under the pillow? Isn't that how it's usually done? Asked Scrags. Usually, yes. But look. Strips of sticky flypaper surrounded Bradley's pillow like a moat. Ah, more clever traps, Scrags chuckled. Clever boy. The sun is rising, so we don't have much time. She watched anxiously from the rim of the box as Scrags crept over the side and into the bottom of the trap. Careful, don't jiggle the stick, she said, tugging at her dress. A wilting petal dropped to the table. I know what I'm doing, Scrags snapped. He gnawed at the string tied to the tooth. A dim light streamed into the window. Can't you go a little faster? Scrags shot her an angry look, but continued to chomp. Finally, the tooth broke free. Quickly, now, bring it up! The rodent sneered. You don't really expect me to carry that disgusting thing up in my mouth, do you? The kid doesn't brush so well, you know. Bluma groaned. She thought for a minute and then opened her tooth bag. Attach the tooth to this. She stuck a wad of Lisanne's clay tooth to the end of Aaron's shoelace and lowered it into the trap. Scrags pressed the tooth into the clay with his paws. Ready! Bluma pulled it up. Well done, she cheered. Yeah, whatever, said Scrags. Just throw him a quarter and let's get out of here. Bluma tossed a coin into the trap. It bounced on the bottom, went into a spin, and landed against the stick. Before Scrags could scramble from the box, the lid smacked shut. Couldn't you wait till I got out? He snarled. His voice was muffled inside the trap. Scrags! Bluma called. She struggled to lift the lid. It wouldn't budge. Forget it, Fairy, he called to Bluma. I can get myself out. But remember, you owe me. A deal's a deal. She heard him scratch and munch inside the wobbling box. I did make a promise, she thought. She pulled out a coin and sprinkled it with fairy dust, something good to chew. Pop! Poof! A crunchy turnip coin rested in the palm of her hand. She tossed it into the cage and gathered her things. Suddenly, Bradley stirred. He blinked his eyes. The fairy dust Bluma sprinkled hours earlier had worn off, and now the scraping and scurrying inside the box had woken him. Bradley sat up, sprang towards the trap. Gotcha, fairy, he shouted, clutching the box. But Bluma had already escaped into the dawn. I'm thinking so many things about this chapter. Go ahead and pause me, talk about what you're thinking about, and then come back so I can share my thoughts. Pause now. Welcome back. Did you talk about some things? Here are some things that I'm wondering. I'm wondering how Bradley's going to react when he opens the box and sees the hamster. I'm also wondering maybe Scrags will get out of that box before Bradley even opens it. Wonder what that tooth is like because they said he didn't brush very well. So many questions.